All right, let's talk about gout. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, but what if I told you that the story we've all heard, the one about rich food and genetics, well, what if that's not the whole picture? Not even close.
Yeah, that whole disease of kings thing? It's been the story for centuries, right? You picture someone feasting, living it up, and then paying the painful price. But honestly, that picture is it's old. The real story, the one that matters to us, is happening right now, all around us.
So, look at this. It really lays out the big shift. The old story was all about the usual suspects, right? What you eat, maybe a little too much to drink, what's in your genes. But now we've got a whole new lineup of culprits. We're talking about pollution, our changing climate, even chemicals and stuff we use every day. This is a total game changer.
And this is the real head-scratcher. Gout is on the rise. And I mean, it's rising fast all over the world. So you have to ask yourself, if it was just about food and family history, why the huge spike now? The old story, it just doesn't explain this. Something else is going on.
Okay, so to really figure this out, we've got to look way beyond the dinner plate. We need to start looking at the world we're living in and day out.
Now don't get me wrong, diet and genes, they absolutely matter. You could say they load the gun. But it's looking more and more like something else is pulling the trigger. And to figure out what that is, scientists are looking past our DNA at something much bigger.
And that something brings us to this really key idea, the exposome. It's a bit of a sciencey term, but the concept is simple. Just think of it as everything you've ever been exposed to in your entire life. The air you breathe, the water you drink, the stuff you use every day. It's basically the environmental twin to your genome.
And here's the thing. This stuff isn't just floating around us. No way. It's actively messing with our body's chemistry. It's changing how we handle uric acid and making it harder for our kidneys to do their job. It's creating the perfect storm for gout. Okay, so let's treat our environment like a crime scene. Who are the main suspects? Let's go through the lineup and check the evidence on each one.
Suspect number 1, it's literally in the air we breathe. We're talking about that superfine particulate matter, PM 2.5 from pollution. This stuff gets into our blood and just kicks off inflammation all over the body, which really puts a strain on our kidneys. And get this, the link is direct. Studies show that when air pollution goes up, so do trips to the ER for gout flares. It's a clear connection.
All right, suspect number 2, the heat. As we see more heat waves, we're all getting more dehydrated. And when that happens, our poor kidneys have to work overtime, concentrating our urine. Well, in that process, they end up reabsorbing more of the stuff that forms those nasty, painful crystals. So, more heat, more risk.
From the air to the water, our next suspect is lurking in what we drink. Heavy metals like lead and cadmium can be a huge problem. They can actually damage the kidneys directly, which means they get worse at their main job, filtering out waste like uric acid.
And for our last suspect, we don't even have to leave the house. I'm talking about those forever chemicals, PFAS. They're everywhere. Non-stick pans, food wrappers, you name it. What they do is act like endocrine disruptors, which is just a fancy way of saying they totally mess up the signals that control our metabolism, and that can throw a wrench in how our bodies handle the very compounds that lead to uric acid.
So you might be wondering, is there something that connects all these dots? Well, there is. Think of ultra-processed foods as the getaway driver. They're not just bad for us on their own, they're basically a delivery system for a lot of these hormone-scrambling chemicals. They just pile on the risk from everything else.
Okay, we've got our suspects lined up. Now let's connect the pieces and see exactly how they pull off the crime, that incredibly painful gout flare.
This really breaks it down for us. It all starts with those environmental exposures we've been talking about. All that stuff puts our bodies, and especially our kidneys, under a ton of stress. So the kidneys start to struggle. They can't clear out the uric acid like they're supposed to. That acid builds up, and then it forms these sharp little crystals in our joints. The body, of course, freaks out, sees these crystals as an invader, and launches an all-out inflammatory attack. And that's the gout flare we feel. So the verdict is in. We really have to start thinking about this differently. Modern gout isn't just about overindulgence anymore. For so many people, it's a sign that the body is under siege from our environment, from all this inflammation and stress on our kidneys.
Okay, so knowing all this is one thing, but what do we do about it? How can we use this information to protect ourselves and our communities?
Well, on a personal level, it gives us some new strategies. Like staying hydrated, that's not just good advice anymore, it's absolutely crucial, especially when it's hot out. Cutting back on processed foods isn't just about nutrition, it's about cutting down on your chemical load. And maybe thinking twice about certain plastics or that old nonstick pan. It all helps lower that daily burden.
But this is way bigger than just our personal choices. It ties our health directly to bigger issues, to public policy. Pushing for cleaner air, demanding safe water, regulating these chemicals, that's not just environmentalism, it's public health. It's about preventing diseases like gout on a massive scale.
And really, it all boils down to this one powerful idea from the research. Protecting the planet is protecting our kidneys, and that means reducing gout. It totally reframes how we should think about it. Taking care of the environment is taking care of our own health. It's self-care on a global scale.
So I want to leave you with a big question to chew on. If our environment itself is making us sick, what is the real cure? That's a question that goes way beyond gout, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of what it means to be healthy today. Thanks for digging into this with me.
On our video. We're so happy you're here. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.